I think we did there were some positives and negatives for sure. I think there's a lot to work on. I can really only speak for myself, right? And for myself, there's a lot to improve on, which is exciting, but also at the same time, there's a sense of urgency to it. We had a great day at practice. I have to stack another few good days together because we know that this opponent is it can be a challenge on defense, and we have to be prepared. And so there's quite a few things to work on, which made today a great day, and we'll try to stack another one tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mitch, Mike Catalano in Rochester. There's a tendency in this league from the outside. Everybody overreacts to week one. Is there something you guys have to guard against in terms of maybe what you see on tape 1 week in with the Dolphins? We didn't know what they were going to do from the offseason to now. And that might be different than once you started to see tendencies in a team and maybe overreacting to something they did specifically in that first game.
I think Dolphins are one of those teams that they break tendencies. They understand that. They can throw a slew of fronts at you and coverages. And for us, it'll be about making adjustments and sticking to our rules. Coach Flores is gifted in that regards. And, with that tree that he comes from, they're going to throw a variety of fronts at you to try to rile you up, and they might have a flavor of the day. So for us, it's just going to be coming out, competing, and understand that we might see a few different things, maybe different from week one or maybe the same. We don't know. So we have to prepare for anything. I know that's a very broad answer to your question, but it's just the truth with the defense is explosive and as different as Coach Flores' defense can be.
And in terms of going down there, you say prepare for anything. So you've played in packed houses. Last week you played with nobody there. Now you're going to Miami, and there's going to be a percentage of fans there. What does that do? Do you have any idea what you think that'll be like? Does it bring energy maybe to a stadium that maybe was missing last week? You guys were really good on the road last year, no matter what the crowd was.
That's a great question. I'd probably be able to answer that for you on Monday. It was one of those things that was definitely different this last week, but much like any game, you hone into the specifics of what's going on. You kind of drown out if there is a crowd, if there isn't. You try to focus on your goal and your task. So it will be different. But this year is so wild and just unique that it's given us an opportunity to get used to that. And so we'll have the opportunity to see how it plays out and just go with the flow.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, Mitch, Mark Gahn here from the Buffalo News. Just in looking at the Dolphins from last week, are they pretty much similar to the Patriots in the run front in the sense that they're all about holding their gaps and, controlling their gaps in the run game?
Yeah, I would say they're very, very good at holding their gaps. They're very gap-sound defense. They're very multiple defense. I think Coach Flores comes from that Patriot scheme, and he's thrown his own flavor to certain things, but they're very gap-sound, and they have some extreme talent on that defense. So for us, it'll be match the intensity that they play with, and I think it'll be a great challenge for us.
And then, I think you pretty much answered this, but I mean, in the pass rush game, I mean, they're big on manufacturing. I mean, they might give you a 3-man rush. They're going to give you 5, 6, but it's very rarely just, okay, let's let these 4 guys pin their ear backs and see what happens. It's going to be a lot of different. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. They're very multiple, both on first and second down and third down. They can throw in a blitz 0 on first or second down. I mean, it really is. You have to be ready for anything and any time. And that's what makes it so unique and makes it so challenging. Yeah, they're going to try to try to get you on different levels. They're going to try to get you from it's a really good defense. And his philosophy it's sound. And it'll be a great challenge for us in the offensive line. And we have to be ready to match that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mitch. John Worrell with the Associated Press. How you doing?
Good, John. How are you?
Good. Thanks for giving us a little bit of your time today. I'm making a comparison between the Bills and the Dolphins in the fact that you arrived here as part of the big rebuild, as a real influx of talent that came in to really push this team forward. The Dolphins seem to be using the same model, and both are regarded as up-and-coming teams in the AFC East. I mean, have you noticed that, and what have you seen from the Bills rebuilding process as you're now entering your whatever year it is? I think it's third. To where the Dolphins are right now.
Yeah, I think you saw what they were able to do this offseason, made some big moves, brought in some really good football players, and that's just going to make them a better football team. I think in the NFL you're always trying to improve your roster, whether it's within or bringing in talent from outside. So speaking on behalf of the Bills, I think Coach McDermott and Brandon Beane have had, and the Pagulas for that matter, have had an idea of what they wanted. I thought they've executed it very well. I think the AFC East is a very challenging division, especially with the new additions all over the division. And it'll be a 1 week, every week's a 1 week season. And this week we have a very talented defense with some new faces that have definitely amplified this defense to a new level.
How different are they from what you've seen on tape? Limited to week one.
I think just really the faces could be different. They're playing this gap sound football last year. I thought it was a team that really, the coin could have flipped their way a few games last year. I think they're a much better team than they were on paper. And if you ask anyone that plays them, they're a formidable foe. And it'll be a great challenge this week to come out and compete in their environment.
Thanks so much, Mitch.
You're welcome.
All right. Hey, good afternoon, Mitch. George Radney, Challenger Community News. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm good, George. How are you?
Pretty good. Question: how was it playing in the state? How was it playing in the stadium on Sunday? Is there an advantage to either team now when there's no fans, or do you think it comes down to just who executes the best?
Yeah, it's a unique deal. You can hear their sidelines from your sidelines. Very interesting. The crowds can be such a momentum swinger. They can really push momentum and help push momentum. And for us, it was a wild deal at times. But like I said before, you do just focus in on the play when you're out there, and it's all about execution. And the team that executes the best is the one that's going to come out on top. And I think it'll be interesting as the year goes on and how that changes. But it was kind of wild. But at the same, at first, but you do hone in and you just play regular football.
And how for Sunday's game in Miami, are you guys on any type of special fluid thing with Miami being so humid down there this time of year?
We're drinking as much liquid as we can, and understanding that it's going to be a warm environment early in the year on a 1 o'clock game. We're just going to have to come out and address that, and be pros about it, and come competing with maybe some adverse weather.
Oh, yes, indeed. And last but not least, you think the running game may be a key factor this week?
Yeah, I think so. I think anytime you can run the ball is great, and it'll be interesting. I think we'll have to read how the game's going. But every week you'd like to get the run game going, and I'm sure this week we'd like to do that as well. But it'll be a great challenge with the gap sound defense that Miami is.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Good luck this weekend.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hey, Mitch, AJ Feldman here at the CBS station in Rochester. How you doing?
You're good. How are you?
Good. You mentioned the influx of talent that Miami's brought in. One of them, Shaq Lawson, your former teammate. How much are you looking forward to going against him? Someone you've gone against in practice probably hundreds of times by now.
Yeah, I think Shaq is a phenomenal football player, a guy who brings energy on the field. Just a dude who really kind of blossomed at the end of last year and throughout last year. We understand that he's a talented guy, and it'll be great to see him. It's always a weird deal at first when you play against your teammates, your prior teammates, but he's found himself a great gig there, and he's playing good ball, and it'll be exciting.
Like you said, he's a guy that brings a lot of energy. Are you ready for that on the other side of the line this time? The trash talk he likes to bring.
It's part of his game, and he does it well. So we'll it'll be fun to see what happens, and we're just looking forward to competing against the whole Dolphin defense. It'll be good to see Shaq.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mitch. Jay Skursky with the Buffalo News. Thank you for some time this afternoon. What has the staff told you about traveling for the first time during the pandemic and the challenges that being on the road will present?
Yeah, they haven't gotten really to specifics like hotel or stuff like that. I understand it's going to be more so for hydration. You know, a long flight, you're going to lose fluid, stay hydrated on the plane. Yeah, it's a great question. I think if you had asked it a day or two from now, I might have a better answer for you. But I assume it's going to be vastly different, and it could not be. It'll be great to see, and I'm sure there'll be regulations and stuff like that on the plane. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. But this whole year's been kind of crazy, you know.
Do you have any, concerns because you're going to South Florida? It's been a hot spot for the pandemic. Not that you're in a bubble per se here, but you guys have at least gotten into a routine, I'm sure, of being in the facility. This is the first time sort of stepping out of it in a while. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm not very worried. Just with league mandated testing, you understand that you have to trust that, and which we do. And I mean, football is a violent sport, and there's inherent risks to playing it. And if you go out timidly or you worry about something else, something's going to happen. So, we'll take the precautions. We'll follow the rules that are there to protect us, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, your teammates and yourself have spoken about personal responsibility a lot this season, and doing everything that you can to try and stay healthy, knowing that you can't eliminate every risk, at least
Right.
in terms of the virus, but that personal responsibility, how has that shaped your decision making and maybe your teammates' decision making and the message that you share as a team leader to your teammates?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an onus on what you do outside the facility. It's a wild deal. I think more so for families. I think the families are the ones that feel it the most because we at least get to come here, leave the house and stuff like that. It's the mental health and the sanity of your spouses or significant others or your kids that you worry about. So that's a great question. It's ever evolving, and you have to make certain decisions for the betterment of the team around you, but also you have to make decisions to keep your family sane, because if mom is unhappy or whoever's unhappy, then everyone's unhappy. So it's a great question. Everyone's got their own different deal going on and different comfort level, but everyone understands that there's certain non-negotiables that we can all take care of, and just be smart